Part 5, Other Things to Know. We've covered a lot of information regarding the ins and outs of becoming a foster parent or relative caregiver. Next, we will cover more about the day-to-day living questions that you may experience as a certified caregiver. What are foster parents paid? Foster parents get reimbursed. This varies depending on each child's age and the level of need. Children who have significant behavioral needs may qualify for an enhanced supervision supplement. This is based on the Child and Adolescent's Needs and Strengths Assessment, known as CANS. Children who require medical intervention in the foster home may qualify for a personal care rate, based on a personal care assessment. This is to be used towards food, clothing, housing, personal incidentals, and transportation. CANS. The CANS level of care payment is provided to an approved certified family, a guardian, a pre-adoptive family, or an adoptive family based on the need for the enhanced supervision of the child that is determined by the results of the CANS screening. Enhanced supervision. This means that there are additional supports, directions, observations, and guidance necessary to promote and ensure the safety and well-being of a child. Now we're going to talk about mileage reimbursements. Transportation can be reimbursed if it is for care that is outside what is typically expected when caring for a child. Example of things that are not covered would be transportation to school, unless the child lives out of the county, your county. Extracurricular sports or activities. Examples of things that are covered would be transporting a child to a visit. Medical transportation is also reimbursed. This is done differently. This is done through the Oregon Health Plan. Your local child welfare branch does not process these reimbursements. These are all optional. Childcare, babysitting, daycare, and respite. When we think about babysitting, you as a foster parent are able to choose who you would like to use as your babysitter. This is temporary, this is occasional care for the child, this is 10 consecutive hours or less, and there are no overnights. This needs to be with a responsible 14-year-old or older, capable of assuming care. They need to be present at all times. You must have no reason to suspect there's any criminal or child welfare history or that they would pose any risk to the child. Daycare. The certified family also chooses. Child welfare needs to approve the use prior. This needs to be with a licensed or registered daycare or child care center. The caseworker needs to approve and backgrounds are checked. Respite. This is also chosen by the certifier, the certified family. Child welfare and the certifier must approve the use prior. This is a formal arrangement that provides temporary care for the child that is less than 14 consecutive days. This must be with a responsible 18-year or older, capable of assuming care, present at all times, complies with the discipline policy, and background checked. Now we're going to talk about childcare. Childcare is expensive. DHS can help. DHS provides a monthly stipend for childcare. The stipend is not based on your income. Talk to your child's caseworker if you want to start this process. To be eligible, you must have a child that is 12 years or younger and placed in a certified home. If you have children that are older than 12, they may also be eligible if there is a developmental or a behavioral issue that requires additional supervision. Childcare must be needed for the caregiver's employment or for them to attend any type of educational programs. Working from home also counts. The child care provider must be approved by DHS Child Welfare. Respite. Respite care must be less than 14 consecutive days. There can be exceptions, but this needs to be made with a pre-approval. It is the responsibility of the foster parent to select a safe and appropriate respite provider. Respite providers referred from DHS have already been background checked. Still, it is your responsibility as a foster parent to make sure you're making an appropriate selection for the child. All respite providers must be approved by the caseworker and the certifier. Foster parents must notify the caseworker every time a child goes to a respite provider, even if the provider has already been approved. Are you planning to go on a vacation? Let the caseworker know where you're going and what are your travel dates. They need to get approval for any missed visitations with the birth parent. If you're leaving the state, you must have a written consent to travel. This needs to be approved and signed by the caseworker supervisor prior to traveling with a foster child out of the state of Oregon. If there's any international traveling This is going to require a minimum of a 1 month's notice. Also, we need a court order. Car seat safety. Foster parents must follow car seat and seatbelt safety laws. Foster parents who drive must maintain a valid auto insurance and ensure that all or any other individuals who drive foster children have a valid driver's license and auto insurance. You can also check with your local fire stations. They offer monthly car safety clinics as well. As a foster parent, you may wonder, what is your role if a child goes missing? When a child placed in care goes missing, the caregiver must notify law enforcement as well as the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children by calling the hotline 1-800-THE-LOSS. That's also 1-800-843-5678. This notification will often fall on you as a foster parent, as the caregiver is generally the first person to know that the person is missing. When you contact law enforcement and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, having a physical description, including any tattoos, piercing, what he or she was wearing when you last saw them, and a description of any personality traits, and any information about the child or young adult's routine, their friends, their activities, their social media, things like that are going to be really important when making that report. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, this provides additional information for you. As you can see, the phone number is 24 hours. It's a 24-hour call center. There's also a way that you can call the cyber, or you can connect with the cyber tip line for sexually exploited children. We will talk about what that means next. Commercially sexual exploitation. This is also known as CSEC. This refers to a range of crimes and activities involving the sex abuse or exploitation of a child for the financial benefit of any person or in exchange for anything of value given or received by any person. If you have any concerns of this, please contact the 1-800-THE-LOST. Also, you can contact the cyber tip line. Confidentiality. Confidentiality is one of the most important things we ask of our caregivers. Confidentiality of your information as a caregiver and of that of the child's information is crucial to ensure privacy and safety of all. It is important as a caregiver that the child's personal information is not shared outside of the parties of the case. Next, we're going to talk about social media guidelines. In a day-to-day age where social media is all around us, we have developed specific expectations for the use of social media when it pertains to sharing information about a child in care. Confidentiality is even more essential in the digital age. Foster parents and relative caregivers may post a family picture on social media sites that include a foster youth, as long as the following conditions are met. There are no safety issues related to the youth, specifically described by the caseworker. Number 2, you need to talk to the youth and make sure that they are comfortable with sharing information about them on social media. Number 3, don't identify the child by their last name, first names only. Number 4, the youth is not identified as a foster youth. Number 5, there's no discussion on social media about the case specifics, about the youth, or the youth's family. And also you need to secure your privacy settings and location settings. Now we're going to talk about risk management. Finally, as you have guessed, foster care is not easy. Sometimes personal items are damaged by children and young adults in foster care. When this happens, caregivers may submit a claim to the risk management regarding any property damage or bodily injuries. By doing that, Oregon provides property and liability insurance for some damages caused by foster children. Claims must be filed within 90 days. Property damage claims require a photograph as well as receipts. If there's injuries to you, injury claims, they require copies of a medical bill and also releases of information. Claims must be submitted by the caregiver to the Risk Management Division. Your certifier does not handle these claims. The phone number to the Risk Management Division is 503-373-7475. This is where you call to start the process of a claim. This wraps up other things to know.
We hope we've given you some things to think about and consider so that you can make an informed decision regarding your own journey as a foster parent.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for your interest in helping Oregon foster children.